Before we begin, I wanted to announce that I made a website. There isn't anything fancy. It's just a place for me to have my portfolio. There's also an About Me section and some commission information, as well as links to my Patreon and my other social media links. So check it out if you want to. Link will be in the description. Now let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome to my studio. Today I have another review for you guys. This is a set of 72 colored pencils by the brand Mewmore, which I really love that name. It's very fun to say. So these colored pencils have a soft core, meaning they're similar to the Prismacolor colored pencils, as well as the Arrtx ones, which are the ones that I have. They claim to be artist quality. I do have some things to say about that later in the video. They're break resistant, which I absolutely can attest to. They didn't break on me once, which is very nice. Even when I sharpen them, and I sharpen my pencils to a really sharp point, so they tend to break a lot, but these ones didn't. And they are also light fast, which I talked about this a little bit in my previous video. Lightfastness means that it won't fade over time, especially exposed to sunlight. There might be some fading, but there are some colors that if they're not light fast, then that means over time and through exposure to UV light, they will just completely fade away. And just for reference, Copic markers, for instance, are known not to be light fast, so they absolutely will fade after a set period of time. They even had these pencils professionally tested for light fastness, and they provided me with a document of the testing, so I'll put that in the description, so you guys can check it out if you want to. I think it's pretty neat seeing how they test these things, so if you want to check that out, you can. The colored pencils themselves, just the color selection, it looks great. I'm inserting a clip of the color chart, which is on the inside of the paper cover that they put on to cover the tin. I didn't realize it until I was looking back at the Amazon page, and I noticed in one of the pictures that it says that there's a color chart on the back, or on the underside of the paper. So I cut that open. So I didn't end up swatching these colored pencils, but they're colored pencils. I've used lots of colored pencils in the past. I think we all know what colored pencils look like, so I didn't think it was too big of a deal. But yeah, I still think it's cool that they include that. And what I think is neat is that on the color swatch sheet, it tells you the light fastness of each of the pencils. But anyway, with that all out of the way, let's get into the art. So I've been doing a lot of painting lately and making bigger pieces of completed art, and I realized I've been kind of neglecting my sketchbook, so I just wanted to play around in my sketchbook a little bit for today. I do have one more big-ish painting planned for this month, but other than that, I think for a little while I'm going to just do some smaller sketchbook pieces while slowly working on some bigger artworks, because I've been doing a lot. When I was creating my website, I noticed that all of my portfolio pieces are from this year, and there's quite a bit of them. So, and I haven't done that kind of art production since, I don't even think I did that in college, and I went to art school. So I've been drawing a lot. So I think it's time to take it easy just a little bit, slow down. It's winter, it's cold, I'm freezing, and feeling very tired constantly because of that. So it is what it is, but I think I'm going to slow down just a little bit and take it easy. I decided to draw some spotted manta rays. They are so pretty. I used to have a big beef with stingrays when Steve Irwin died, but I've since gotten over it, and I think they're really cute, and a lot of other artists have drawn them, and I think partly because of that as well, they've grown on me. So I wanted to draw them swimming through space, and this is just a sketchbook page, so I don't totally love how it turned out. I think I used a lot more pink than I wanted to. I wanted it to be very cold overall because I've been feeling cold, so I wanted to draw something that expressed that sense of coldness, and I totally did not get that across at all, but that's okay. I'm going to revisit this at some point and I think make like a bigger watercolor piece out of it, or maybe gouache. I don't know, watercolor or gouache, but for right now, I'm just doing some sketches. And I also wanted to add some little fish and a couple little groups of jellyfish and some clouds. I think clouds are becoming part of my signature. I draw them a lot as background elements, even when it doesn't quite make sense. I'm not sure why. I think they just fill the space really nicely. So I wanted to add them here. Well, it's not even that I wanted to add them. I just added them because I guess that's just what I do now. I add clouds to my artwork. Also because I guess I can't just use one medium anymore. I decided to bust out some of my Ferris wheel press inks. I did use them before in a video, and then I didn't really touch them again, and I just wanted to use them, so I took out 2 of the colors that I like, and I think this is kind of where it went wrong, because I started off with a very reddish pink, and that wasn't the move. I should have used one of my blue inks, but that's okay. Again, it's just sketchbook work. It was just to relax and have fun, and even though I don't love the outcome, it's an idea that I had in my head and I put it on paper, and I'm probably going to revisit later, so I still think it was a win. I also want to mention just briefly how working in my sketchbook has really changed my process in general when it comes to art. I used to be so afraid of doing something in my sketchbook that doesn't look good, but now I'm much more open to experimenting because I realized, yeah, sometimes it doesn't look good, but that's okay, because just because that one doesn't look good doesn't mean you're not allowed to ever go back and revisit it and do it in maybe a different medium that you like better, or just try again and see if your brain can come up with something a little better, or maybe your brain and your hands will work better together that time. I've talked about working in a sketchbook before, and I'll probably talk about it again, but it's definitely something worth trying if you've never used a sketchbook before, or if maybe you're afraid to use a sketchbook because you're afraid of making ugly art. Definitely try to challenge yourself, because I think you'll find that you'll start to like your artwork more and more the more practice you get in your sketchbook. So going back to this art, when I started shading with colored pencils, I went with a very limited color palette. Again, I wish I chose more blues. I definitely went more like pinkish purpley, but that's okay. These colors were very nice. I'm kind of pleasantly surprised because they're pretty cheap. For 72 pencils, they were $28.99 USD, and that is a really good price. In fact, on the Amazon page, I was looking through the reviews, and a lot of them are parents buying sets of colored pencils for their kids, and I absolutely see why. Because first of all, they don't break easily, which is very important if you have children, but they also work pretty well, and I'm kind of just amazed at how far art supplies have come in the past, I don't know, decade or so. Longer, how old am I? Maybe 2 decades. Because when I was a kid, all we had were those crappy art kits and like Rose Art, and we didn't have all of these really cool art supply brands that focused on student grade. I know this says artist grade colored pencils, but I don't think they are. I would definitely call them student grade, but it's nice that we have brands that focus on this mid-level art supply so that you don't have to spend $1 million on art supplies when you really don't need to. So I think that's great, and these were fun to work with. I don't have anything bad to say about them. I do think that one of the light blues felt a little bit waxy when I was doing a little blend test, but that's it. The rest of them felt fine, and they felt like coloring with my ArtX colored pencils, except just a little bit harder. if that makes sense. Like, they are soft core colored pencils, and you can definitely tell when you're using them, but they're not as soft as like the Prismacolor or the Caran D'ache ones that I have and the Arrtx ones that I have. Like, those all feel a little bit softer than these ones, but they're fine. And I think $30 for 72 pencils is a pretty great deal. I also have a discount link that Mewmore was kind enough to share with me so that I can share with you guys. It's 12% off, and it only lasts until January 3rd. So if you're interested in these pencils, I would get them now. Early Christmas present to yourself, why not? But that link is going to be in the description. I also wanted to mention that it's not an affiliate link. I'm not making any money off of this whatsoever. I just wanted to test these out, and they were nice enough to send me a discount link, so I just thought that was pretty cool. Oh, this also isn't sponsored. I don't think I mentioned that yet, but yeah, this isn't sponsored at all. So these opinions are totally my own. You don't have to worry about that. I genuinely do like these colored pencils. I don't like them as much as the ones that I'm currently using, but these are also a lot cheaper. So that's definitely something that you have to keep in mind, is you can't get something that's $30 for 72 pencils and expect them to be professional. Even if the packaging does say artist quality, that's still just something that is good to keep in mind. Anyway, back to the art for a bit. I didn't end up fully rendering this sketchbook page. I think it was a mistake to go in with the colored pencils so soon. I wish I did a little more with the ink because my hands get tired really quickly. I actually used to have pretty big issues with my hands, but thankfully that's gone away. I'm not sure why, but they used to hurt so badly that I couldn't do anything. But they still get tired pretty easily, especially when I use colored pencils and other like dry mediums where you have to press hard. I think that's part of the reason why I enjoy painting so much. So because of that, I couldn't completely render the whole sketchbook page because my hand just started hurting too badly. And I realized I wasn't having fun with it, and I don't plan on any finished piece having colored pencils to this extent. So I decided to just call it, and I went in with some white Posca pen to add some sparkles and stars, and I wanted to add little stars on the manta ray's back because, I mean, of course, it's a spotted manta ray in space, so in my brain that meant that some of the spots absolutely had to be stars, so that's what I did. So there's only a couple minutes left of this process video. I know this was a quick one, but like I said, I've been feeling pretty tired. I just want to take it a little easy for the next month or so. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Mewmore, for sending me this set of colored pencils. Be sure to check the link in the description for the test and the discount link, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Thank you so much to my patrons, Mikey, Harry Hamster, Subside, Miranda Means, Nene, Nakia Pickering, and Izzy Scribbles Ghosts. You guys are super duper awesome, and I really appreciate your support.